called the Escalante, a mine with iron doors did cover riches more than any man could own.
I want to thank you folks for coming. It is supposed to be Buffalo Bill Cody's 171st birthday celebration, but tomorrow I guess will be the big deal because we're having a treasure hunt for the kids. So more people will show up there. We'd hope to raise enough money to open an educational exhibit by getting people trying to sell some of the jewelry and the books, and so far there ain't a lot of money in it, but we really think that it's worth it. And in honor of Buffalo Bill, I would hope that you would all go out and do at least one random act of kindness, especially to a cowboy. And next year we're planning on having a float, and we'll have Dane in there all dressed up as Buffalo Bill, and then we want a white horse with empty boots in the saddle, and the territorial brass band that Don's going to tell you about here in a little bit, and give you a little taste of what. But I figure if we could do that next year, maybe it'll get people's more attention. Most people don't know Bill was here. I just found out, and I'm not sure about this, but they closed the church. The church was the hotel for his friend, William Neal. And I hope they don't tear it down. They've tore down every other old building in this town. And I'm going to throw a fit and then be like everybody else in the United States and start protesting if they're going to tear that place down, because I can't stand it. But Don, take on the show, buddy. Tell them what it's all about, will you, sir?
Roy Casson, in her biography of Buffalo Bill, reminds us that, quote, before radio, television, and movies, William F. Cody was arguably the most famous American of his time. His show, which toured the United States, Canada, and Europe, thrilled millions, including heads of state, and colorful posters promoting it were everywhere. Tall, handsome, and an advertising genius, the former Army Scout brought together trip shooters such as Annie Oakley, Civil War soldiers, Mexicans, Arabs, and such famous Native Americans as Sitting Bull and Black Elk, in a never-before-seen combination of history, action, and melodrama, both fact and fiction. Despite his detractors, Cody was the real thing, an Army veteran who won the Medal of Honor, a buffalo hunter and an actor, but especially an entertainer, who made and eventually lost a fortune. He held the respect of Native Americans, founded the town of Cody, Wyoming, and established a worldwide conception of what the American West was like that lasted more than a century. His show heavily influenced thousands of later movies and television shows. And the way that he dressed in Stetson hat, boots, and fringe buckskins can be seen today in every country and western bar, every rodeo, and just about every state of the Union. There are so many different sides to Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill the hunter, Buffalo Bill the Civil War scout, Buffalo Bill the Pony Express rider, Buffalo Bill the frontiersman, Buffalo Bill the Indian war soldier, Buffalo Bill the showman. But Buffalo Bill, Arizona's first senator to Congress? Yes, there was a distinct possibility, shows, with an observation that Colonel Cody was, quote, not yet a wreck. With each tour in 1902 and 1908, and 1910, William Cody became more and more enamored with Arizona. The territory was a love interest that started as early as 1888, the year he first made his first visit to the Grand Canyon. In January of 1909, the Daily Review even speculated that Bill may become an Arizonan. One Arizona place in particular that caught Bill's attention was a little community of Oracle, where he stayed over often at the Mountain View Hotel. Of his visit in January of 1909, he remembered, I was surprised to find a beautiful little winter resort up in the mountains called Oracle. About 20 as pretty women I have ever saw. They rounded me up and I was photographed with a whole bunch. And you see the photo up there. They wanted me to stop over and get up a dance or a shooting match, but I couldn't do it. Eventually, he became a close friend to the hotel operator, William Curly Neal, and hung around to do some exploration in the area. In 1910, Bill purchased a gold mining enterprise at Campo Benito near Oracle, and that's just south of here, and reorganized it as the Cody Dyer Mining and Milling Company, also known as the Hijinks Mining Company. As the Bisbee Copper era reported it under the headline Cody and Associates, organized Hijinks Mining Company. Colonel W.F. Cody and John Baker, champion rifle shot, together with an Easterner named Jeffries, are opening what is said to be a valuable gold claim near Campo Benito, a few miles. And I will cover the melody, usually played by the cornets, the late lead cornet, and some of the parts played by the baritone, the tuba, and a little bit of the tom-tom. As I play, please enjoy a quick gallery of photographs taken by the 19th century shadow catcher Edward Curtis, who captured the images of Native Americans' traditional life before their way of life disappeared. A perfect visual lament.
Today I'd like to present Dane Johnson as Colonel William Frederick Cody. Dane is an actor, a stuntman, a historian, a professional entertainer, and winner of the National Cody Lookalike Contest, and he portrays Cody as he appeared in the late 1800s. So ladies and gentlemen,
I want to tell you, I was all prepared to give you a lot of things in my life, and this gentleman did it way before I did. You know, all of those things that you said about me are probably true. If they aren't, they should be. I was born William Frederick Cody, February 26, 1846, on a little farm just outside of LeClaire, Iowa. My parents, Isaac and Mary, had 7 children, and out of that 7 children, I was the middle child. Well, my hero was my brother Samuel. He was just a little bit older than I was, and Samuel was a real good horseman. And one day, the wild horse that we had, my father told him not to ride that horse. It's going to throw you. He was showing off for some girls, like young men do. Showing off for the girls, and that horse reared up, went over backwards, and busted him up pretty bad. Took him about 5 days to die. Wow. Right after that, my father decides he's going to uproot, and he's going to take us from there to Missouri. We didn't stay too long in Missouri. We hooked up with my other uncle. We went on to Kansas. Now, most of you probably don't understand that Kansas was a border state. I know you don't understand that in today's lingo, but a border state, that was the edge of the United States. Kansas was. And they didn't know whether they were going to come in as a free state or a slave state, so there was a lot of things going on there that was pretty bad. Real bad. They called it Bleeding Kansas for a long time. My father, being an abolitionist, he wanted to throw himself in the air, and I'd take my rifle and I'd shoot all 3 of them, bam, bam, bam. And it was really a sight to behold. Trick shooting. Well, when we got to England, our announcer came down with laryngitis. He couldn't talk. And with him coming down with laryngitis, this young fellow come up to me and he says, I can announce your show, Mr. Cody. I said, are you sure you know how to do this? He said, oh yeah. I said, I've heard him do it many times before. I said, okay, you go ahead. So we had the grand exhibition where we rode around the arena, and I got ready to open the show with my trick shooting. And he walks up to this megaphone. He didn't have any microphones back then. We had megaphone, about this big around, and then the bell was clear out to here. And he walks up to that megaphone and he says, and now, Buffalo Bill will shoot the glass balls off his horse. True story. True story. Told by the old-fashioned movie star Tim McCoy. Went to visit my sister in Denver. I come down pretty sick, and I kept getting weaker and weaker. But I was determined to take that show out one more time in the summer of 1917. So I sent my adopted son, my foster son, Johnny Baker. I sent him back east, and he was going to find some money to donate to us, and we're going to go out on the road just one more time. Johnny Baker was a pretty good shot himself. Of course, you knew that we had people in our Wild West show like Annie Oakley, you know, those kind of folks. But I got to tell you, January 10th, 1917, I rode into the sunset for the last time. My name is Dane Johnson, and I'm a barber from Tucson. Thank you. Now, before y'all...